Mr. Jordan, you saw the game today. Will you say it's a convincing win for Arsenal today?
Convincing in the sense that I don't feel like up until the last part of the game we were going to concede. I didn't think at any point they were going to threaten us. I don't think we had to defend without the ball for long periods of time. But naturally at 2-0, you only need a set piece or you only need a corner or a dodgy VAR or a penalty in this league to kind of find yourself back in a bit of a dogfight. So slightly disappointing that we weren't more comfortable in that respect. We had some very, very, very clear chances. I think Trossard had one where he's gone through, Nketiah's had one where he's gone through, Jesus has had one where they've gone through, and really from at that level they've got to be putting those sorts of chances away. They're not chances that Premier League players shouldn't be testing the goalkeeper better for, in my opinion. But fundamentally, next week, in 2 weeks, in 6 weeks, no one remembers all of that. They just remember that Arsenal went away or Arsenal played at home and won the game. So the 3 points is the most important thing for me. Given that we were so convincing on Wednesday, it's kind of understandable in some respects that there are, maybe the standards dropped a little bit. We've got another big game on Tuesday. So again, the players might have had half an eye on the Tuesday game, given that that's going to be quite a difficult game. But fundamentally, the job is to come here, get 3 points, and we've done that today for me.
Do you think Arsenal should work on their being clinical goal? If yes, which striker will you recommend them to get in January?
So, yeah, I think we need to be more clinical. Like I just said, we had 3 big chances from 3 players who have all played at centre forward for Arsenal this season. So Trossard, Nketiah and Jesus all had very big chances and none of them got put away. So from my perspective, I think there's a concern there that we're not necessarily as effective in front of goal in those areas. But we've also just won 6-0 the other day. We do score goals, so I'm not too concerned by that. I know that there is a very big clamour for everyone saying, "Oh, let's go and get Ivan Toney. Let's go and get Ivan Toney." Ivan Toney seems to be the name on everyone's lips at the minute. Ivan Toney's a good player. I think he's got a good attitude. I think he brings something very, very different. I think he's a player that would give us a different option, particularly in terms of his physicality. I don't see Arteta going out and doing that. I don't see him going out and getting an Ivan Toney or someone like that, if I'm being honest. I think if you were going to go and get Ivan Toney, I think you do it in the summer. So I think you do it whilst he's still on his ban. He comes in, he can train with the side from September onwards, which gives him an opportunity to kind of come in. We play such a distinctive style of football, it could be a little bit disjointed in terms of him trying to come in a January window and try to fit into the system. So I think if there's going to be a big move for a centre forward, I think it will be in the summer. And it's difficult because I think I'm not quite sure in terms of the market. I think the striker market is a really difficult market to go out there and really buy someone or bring someone in that's going to really raise and elevate the level of this side. I think fundamentally it might not be this summer, it might be the summer after. For me, it's Evan Ferguson. So for me, I think Evan Ferguson at Brighton is the next big one. He's very reminiscent for me of Harry Kane. In that kind of mould, so I can kind of understand why people are clamouring for a centre forward. I understand the need, or people saying about Ivan Toney. I don't see it happening. I think if they were going to do it, they would have done it earlier. That's just my opinion.
Going forward, next game against Luton, you think Arsenal can go all the way to pick 3 points, or will it be difficult game for Arsenal? Then when you look at the fixtures in December, do you think Arsenal can finish December still at the top of the table?
I think December's going to be tough. But I don't think it's just going to be tough for Arsenal. I think it's going to be tough for everyone. I think the challenge with December is you have so many games in such a short period of time. I mean, like I said, we played Wednesday, we've played Saturday, we're playing again on Tuesday. So it becomes quite difficult to try and keep that fluidity, and particularly when it's as cold as this is. We've seen Tomiyasu today pick up potentially what could be a muscular injury, which it's challenging. It's really, really, really challenging. He's the sort of player that, again, in that game against Luton, you'd want him to be in there. We've got Aston Villa next week, which is a big game. We've got Brighton coming up, which is again another big game. We've got Liverpool coming up, again another big game. So they're challenging games, but I think if you can get through that tough period, we've got West Ham as well. I think over the Christmas break, they're not going to be easy games. I don't think there's any real easy games in the Premier League. I think even the game we played against Burnley a couple of weeks ago, the game they sides make it difficult. It's very physical. It's a very different game and a very different type of game than maybe we see when we're playing in the Champions League, where maybe it's a little bit more tactical, a little bit slower, and our quality kind of shows through, and also our physicality shows through. Today you get a side like Wolves, athletes. You get a side like Burnley, like every Premier League side has just got athletes. So physically, it's very, very, very demanding, and it becomes really challenging. But I think we're well set. I think we've got a good squad. I think we've got good options. I think we've got a lot of players who haven't necessarily had as many minutes as maybe they would have expected. So, for example, Jakub Kiwior can still come in and can do a job playing at centre back. He can do a job playing at left back. Havertz is still there. Obviously, we're without Partey, we're without Timber. Reece Nelson's played some minutes, but not necessarily maybe as many minutes as he would have expected. So we've got players who you can kind of bring in during that busy period who might be able to kind of come in and take a little bit of pressure off some of the players, give people a bit of a break, because trying to churn the same 12 or 13 players out every 3 days is only going to end in severe injury for one or two players.
Thank you so much.